Hey, Nikki Brown here. No matter where you are, no matter what part of the world you're in, I hope that you're having a good day. So, we've heard men, or you're maybe a man who said, "Well, I can cook, I can clean, I have my own money. Um, so why do I need a woman, right? Or what value does a woman bring to my life? Or all of these things that people say nowadays, right?" And number one, we're gonna break it down. Number one, the reason you need women is for a helpmate. I'll give you an example. One of my coworkers, just the other day, um, we were in an area that was kind of dark. It was still light, but it was dark. And the person, and he said, "Is it always this dark over here?" I don't remember it being this dark over here, or is it just that we're usually not over here at this time of day because um, the sun casts shadows after a certain time. Um, and it was overcast, so when it's overcast, you don't get as much light, right? So I said, I don't know. I said, either it's because it's dark, or maybe there's a way we can turn on a light, right? So I go over to the wall and I see a light switch and I flip it up, and what do you know? We have light. And all the guys were like, "Oh, yay, great!" Like, right? And so when I walked over to the guy that I was originally talking to and working with, he said, "You can't tell me men don't need women. We need y'all." I said, "We actually need each other, right? Because men think differently from women, and women think differently from men, right? There was a time when majority of the societies in the world were matriarchal. But what happened? Some men came along, and with their jealousy and envy, they switched it to patriarchy, right? Because they couldn't stand to see a woman in so called control or so called charge. But there were no words for that at that time. It's just that women were better at making decisions. So women made majority of the decisions in the village, in the tribe, right? No different than a lion's pride. It seems that the man is in control, right? But as soon as they detect any type of weakness, they will maul him to death and bring in a new leader. Think about that. Again, it seems that the lion, the king of the jungle, right, is in control. But if they come across a lion who is more powerful, they will maul him to death. And I don't know if I'm supposed to say that. They will unalive him, right? This is the word that everybody uses nowadays. They will unalive him and bring in the new leader, right? So men need women as a helpmate. Now, again, that was just a specific example. So don't go ahead on here and say, "Oh, I don't need a woman to turn the light switch on," because you're being simple minded. You're not thinking, right? That's one of the reasons you need a helpmate, because women think differently. It's not about the light switch, it's about the way women think. Because usually a man will just sit and deal with whatever the situation is. He's not going to stop and say, "Oh, let me see if I can find the solution real quick." He's going to say, "Oh, well, I'm already doing it, so let me just go ahead and finish." Even with driving, most men are not going to stop and ask for directions. They're just going to drive around until they feel they can figure it out. Now we have GPS, so maybe he might be more likely to use the GPS nowadays. But back in the day, a lot of men, again, would not stop and ask direction. They'd drive around for hours. And the woman would just sit there because they didn't want her to say anything because that would make him feel emasculated. So she would just have to sit there while they rode around for hours till he figured out where the hell they were going. Which is a bit ridiculous if you think about it, right? So as you can see, I put 5 needs of men. But we're just going to break it down into smaller parts and do it one at a time. So I'm going to come back to this and I'm going to build on it. And we'll keep having this discussion. As always, I love y'all. Later. Mwah.